kind of hang out, ask a few questions, talk about life. And anybody ever seen Knight Rider? You know what the theme of Knight Rider is? No? See, you guys are too young. Your parents would know. The theme of Knight Rider was one man can make a difference. And I usually start these things off with you guys made a difference in my life. Because without Knight Rider, without you making a difference in my life, I wouldn't be here. All the entertainers, without an audience, we have nothing. And that's why I love the audience. That's why I love Panto, is because I can actually talk back to the audience. And it's a lot of fun. And you guys have made a big difference in my life. Knight Rider made a huge difference in my life. Amazing difference in my life, actually, because I believe that we have a lot of control in our mind, you know, and we know what we should do, and we know what we shouldn't do, and we do a lot of stupid things. But when Knight Rider came along, this little boy came to visit me on the set of Knight Rider. His name was Randy Armstrong, and Randy had cancer. And so we said, wow, where's he from? They said, well, he's the first child of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I said, wow, what do you want us to do? And they said, well, can you, show him around, take him a spin in the kit car? So we spent 6 days with this lovely kid, and he was 16 years old. He had leukemia. And it was an incredible experience. We loved Randy. We took him around in the car. We showed him we gave him a Knight Rider hat and a jacket. We let him drive the car. And then his dad said, thank you very much. You know, we'll keep you abreast of his condition. And Randy went home, and Randy passed away and, of leukemia. And he wrote me a letter that said, your cast and crew taught me there was more to life than pain. And I went, wow. And he sent me a picture of himself wearing his Knight Rider hat and jacket. And one of the last pictures that were ever taken of him. And it just affected me so emotionally that I realized that maybe I got Knight Rider for a reason. Why did I beat out 100 kids? Because when I went home for my audition, I blew my audition. I was too nervous. And, but they saw something in me, and they allowed me to come back. And I came back in, and after reading a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. You should check out this book. It's a cheap little book that was out about 200 years ago by Joseph Murphy. And it's about believing in yourself, and it's about programming yourself, and it's about repetition in your head so that when you come to a situation, you're prepared for that situation. It really is programming your subconscious mind. I've kind of taken on to that a long time ago because I got a show called The Young and the Restless, a soap opera. Is that on over here, Young and Restless? It's kind of like Coronation Street. And when I got that show, I was so nervous. I just couldn't do it. It was so hard. It was like 20, 30 pages a day. And I went off and I read this book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And it said, you know, every time they would count down before you would go on stage, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and and I just like become unglued and became 5. Hey, I know what I'm doing. 4, you know what you're here for. 3, come on, man, you know your lines. 2, have fun. And 1, piece of cake. And I kept doing this and doing this and doing this to the point where I overcame my fear. And I think that's what life's about, really, is overcoming your fear. And I think also that life's about, big no, life is not fair. And it's something that I've been learning for a long, long time. And I'm still learning that life is not fair. But if you don't act out and feel sorry for yourself and just move forward, it's okay, you know? It really is okay. There's a great book out that I was actually listening to this morning, which was quite early for me, because we do the Panto, where I play Hoff the Hook. Don't you just love me? Oh, yes, you do. And we get home around 10, 11 o'clock at night, and we can't sleep because we're wired from the show. So I usually go to bed around 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. But I listened to this book. It's called The 4 Agreements, and it's so simple, and it's really, really cool because the agreements in there are always do your best, which is the most important thing. Be impeccable with your word, which means don't lie. And don't lie about people. Don't gossip about people. Tell the truth. And you want people to tell you the truth. I have a great relationship with my daughters. You know why? Because they told me the truth. No one told Michael Jackson the truth. That's why he died. Nobody loved him enough to say, hey, dude, you know, you're messing up. My kids told me the truth a while back. And I tell my kids the truth. I say, now look, you can smoke that. You can drink that. But there's consequences for that. I'm not going to stop you. I'm just going to tell you that there are consequences in life. And there are rewards in life. There's amazing rewards in life. If you believe in yourself and you keep a positive attitude and you see it, you believe it, you will live it. It's all about you guys. It's all about your imagination. I've been around the block. I've been to the top and I've been to the bottom and I've been back up. And you have to work really hard to get to be number one at the top, and you have to work twice as hard to stay there. But back to the 4 agreements is you have to be impeccable with your word. You have to always do your best. You have to not assume anything. That's a tough one. You know, don't assume. Here's a good one. Don't assume that when you bring Knight Rider back to NBC and say, hey, let's bring Knight Rider back, that you're going to be in it. Because I brought Knight Rider back to NBC after 20 years with the whole story about me and my son and the car. It's going to be great. They said, great, we're going to do it. You're not going to be in it. And so don't assume anything. And the other one, which is, I think, the hardest thing to do, is not to take anything personally, you know? If anyone says something about you or has a criticism on you, it's their problem. It's their problem. It's not yours. It's really what you think about yourself that counts. You know, and that's a hard thing to do because we're really emotional creatures, especially in theater, in music, in arts. We react emotionally. That's why I love doing the panto, because I can get to those kids emotionally. I can go from, don't you just love me, to, you don't want to turn me off, I'm the meanest pirate of them all, to I can where the kids can squirm. I made them feel something. And that's what the theater is about. The theater is about making people feel. The theater is about shocking people. The theater is about making people cry. The theater is about making you put your arm around the person next to you and saying, I love you, because you're watching it on television or on TV or on the screen, because you want your life to be like that. Sigmund Freud said, don't teach your kids logic. He said, teach your kids fairy tales. How weird is that? Tell them to go read Grimm's fairy tales. Tell them to dream. And then if they ask about things, tell them to go dream some more. Imagine. Can you imagine? I mean, if you imagine it, it will happen. If you see it in your head, every night I go to bed, and it can turn into a physical imagination too. I dreamt that I'd always meet this hot young blonde girl who just wanted to walk down the beach and didn't give a damn about fame. And she walked right into my life. 2 years later, I went, there she is. Right out of my dream, you know? And relationships, well, that's another chapter. But I mean, you know, if you see it and you believe it, you will live it. But you have to do that, and you have to do it all the time. I do it every morning. This morning when I woke up, I went, oh my God, it's Thursday morning. Is it Thursday morning? Yeah. Thursday morning. Is it Friday or Thursday? That's one thing you forget in show business. You don't know what day it is. We don't know what country it is. I think I say, I know, let's see, Sunday. Tuesday is Sweden. That's what I know. Yeah, Tuesday we'll be in Sweden. So I woke up this morning, I said, do I really have to speak this morning? But you know what? Every morning I have to kind of program myself into forget about the past, which is really tough. You know, I had a rough relationship that I just came out of, and it's still making me angry. And the biggest thing is to forgive that person. You forgive them. You forgive them and you let it go, because you don't want to rent space. You don't want to rent that negative space of a bad relationship, or just forgive them and say, I forgive you, you know, because obviously they're sick. That's what I think. You say, well, they're sick, or maybe I'm sick, but just forgive them. Maybe we're both sick, but she can forgive me too. Just forgive them, you know, just get away, go away. I forgive you. You're nuts, but I forgive you. You know, and move on. And this morning I have to wake up and say, where am I? Where's the sun? I'm not in Malibu. I'm in Nottingham. Oh, and where's Robin Hood? I haven't seen him once. And he's so small. How did he kill all those people? No wonder he used arrows. And I'm going, where am I? And I go, okay. It's a good day. You have something to say. You've been around the block. You know, you've been all over the internet, good ways and bad. And so maybe you can go up and share a little bit about your life, about what really happens. It's show business is the best thing you can do is to be honest with yourself and know your limitations, you know. When I tell children, the best thing about Peter Pan is that I see in these kids me. The first show I ever did was Peter Pan, and I played a lost boy. And this is my fourth one, and I'm still learning. I was learning because the kids want to listen. And sometimes the audience is really quiet, and on stage it makes you feel, oh my God, they're really quiet, they must hate me. No, they're listening, they're taking it in, and I love watching the kids watch Peter Pan. I'll get behind Tinkerbell, and I'll say, give me the whereabouts of Peter Pan's secret hideout, and maybe I could tell him for you. And all the kids go, no, don't tell him. And I said, oh, it's so great. And then I'm backstage with the kids, and I look at these kids, and they believe they are lost boys. They believe they're a Peter Pan. The whole theme of Peter Pan is the boy doesn't want to grow up. And it's a great theme. J.M. Barrie, who wrote it, was an amazing guy. I mean, when you go back in that movie Finding Neverland, look at how it started. Everybody thought he was completely nuts. He was like having a West End musical, and he wants to fly kids about Neverland and Wendy and Tinkerbell, which was a little fairy. They thought he was crazy, but he had a vision. And that vision's lasted hundreds of years now. And it's all about not growing up. It's all about retaining that innocence. And that's what we're constantly doing as actors. You have to listen. Best thing you can do as an actor is have someone talk and listen. And try to repeat back what they said. It's the hardest thing to do. My daughters are actresses. Haley. Haley's an incredible actress. She's a plus-size model now, and so instead of like, oh, I'm overweight, I'm plus-size, she's decided to use it. Say, be proud, I'm curvaceous, I am who I am, and she's out promoting it. You'll see her, she's on Curvaceous magazine right now. She had her own series called Huge for a while, which was written by Winnie Holtzman, who wrote Wicked. And she's an amazing actress because she listens. And you know, it hasn't been easy growing up in Hollywood and being the daughters of a celebrity who gets a lot of critical acclaim and gets a lot of crap that's written about them that's not true. And it hurts them. It really hurts their feelings because they know how much I love them and they love me. But it's about listening. It's about responding to your feelings. And that's what art's about. That's what theater's about. That's why I love being on the stage. Olivier, I always say I love being on the stage because it's safe. I know what's behind me, and I know what's in front of me. And I know that I can affect my whole life in a positive or negative way. I give a bad performance, you know, I call it show business. You get a good show, you do great business. You have a bad show, you get the business. And so you know what's going on stage. Laurence Olivier once said, why do you do the stage? He said, because I wanted to get out of the audience. Get out of the audience. Get on stage. You know, don't run with the pack, lead the pack. Don't run with the pack, lead the pack. You know, it's amazing if you just take your ideas and you believe in them that they'll come true. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would end up being an actor or a director or a producer or a skydive or go around the world or hang out with people in Soweto. I was in Soweto during apartheid. I went in there because they weren't allowing anyone in, and I was white, and I said, give me 5 African American, I guess they don't call them African American, call you blacks. Give me 5 black cops, man. And the 5 guys went into Soweto, and they put me on the blacklist in America. I said, well, put me at the top. I'm going to see these people. And they all wore hats. They had a little Night Rider card on the top, singing, Siyabonga, amen, Siyabonga, amen. I said to the guy, what does that mean? It means, thank you, God, that you are here, that somebody reached out to somebody, you know. When you can make a difference in someone's life, it goes back to you can make a difference. You have to make a difference in someone's life. But first you have to make a difference in your own life. And that difference can come with just crossing the street. When you see someone who needs a smile or needs a help. I went on Night Rider, and just as a gag, I learned the names of all the crew. And they told me that they've been working on those shows for 30 years and nobody ever knew their names. And those guys would have killed for me. It's the same way working on the show that I'm doing now. It's like, you know, you have to have if you have a personal relationship with people and not just walk in your own world, but reach out to them, it'll come back to you in a big way. There's another thing that I wanted to talk about. I was trying to think about as I was waking up on my 3rd cup of coffee. I did a lot of work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation because of Randy. When I told you that Randy sent me a picture of his hat and jacket, it was a picture of Randy's hat and jacket in his casket. And I went, whoa, it was a little Polaroid. This is heavy. And I showed it to the whole cast and crew, and they all started to cry. And I said, open the door. And we saw 3,000 kids in the next few years on Night Rider. And it always amazed me how they still believed in God. You know, how do you believe in God? How do you keep this faith when something tragic like this happens? And the reason I talk about Randy is I asked his dad, is it okay if I use Randy as kind of my mentor, as my mascot? Yeah, and he said, sure. But I got a call from my mom, who passed away about 3 years ago. And she said, hey, you're not going to believe this. Somebody just called and said their son was hit in a crosswalk, and it looks like he's going to die. And can you go see him? I said, when? She said, no. I said, Mom, it's Christmas Eve. I said, yeah, sure. Where is he? And they said, Orange County. So I jumped in my car and drove down to Orange County with my dad. And here's this little boy. And he's like in a self-induced coma, or induced coma because he's so ill. And the boy's favorite show is Night Rider. And so I go and I talk to him, and he's kind of like, he's, you know, asleep in this coma. And I walk out, and it's really heavy, and I'm going, I'm just an actor. I felt really embarrassed and kind of humbled and that you wanted me to be here. And I told my dad, I said, Dad, I don't know what else to do. This kid's, he's in bad shape. So the parents came over, and the priest was there, like heavy. And I said, can I ask you a question? How do you still believe in God and have so much faith when this has happened to your son? And you know what they said? Because you came. I went, what? Because you came. We know that our son's not going to make it. But we prayed for a miracle, that we could find his favorite hero, Michael Knight, Night Rider, and we did. And you came. That's a miracle. So it gave them, so we all, of course, started to cry. And we went back in and said, Dad, I'm staying here until this kid wakes up. And we stayed there until the kid rolled over and said, Michael Knight, oh, Michael Knight. And gave him a little hug. And then the doctors came over and said, he's in bad pain, blah, 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 that's enough. And we left, and the boy died the next day, you know, but it was because we came. It's because we showed up. And if I could leave you with something, you got to show up in life. You got to show up for your parents. You got to show up for people who need help. You got to show up for yourself. It's fun to party. It's fun to go out and get crazy. And it's fun to sit back and watch life go by the next day because you're so hungover. I've been there for days. And going bye-bye, bye-bye, not going out. Okay. And then finally, or don't close those curtains, it's too bright outside. You don't have that problem here because there's no sun. Great place to party for you guys. It's party all night! There's no sun. We'll never be blinded going home. We used to be blinded going to work on The Young and the Restless. But anyway, life is great. Life is fun. Life is full. I've been around the world. And last, my nephew here, Nick, and I started 3 years ago with a panto in Wimbledon, and we haven't looked back. We've been all over the world, from Australia to bungee jumping in Zimbabwe to rappelling off of Table Mountain to the Sydney Harbor Bridge, looking for opportunity. You got to look for it. No one's going to look for it, and you got to do it yourself. The main thing is to stay in the game. You know, if you stay in the game, you're going to hit one out. That's baseball. I guess you guys call it cricket here. The way I say it, if you throw enough balls in the air, you're going to catch one. One of them's going to land. You just got to, A, have the balls, and 2, you got to have the balls and keep them going. You know, I've got like 19 things going on. When Nick came to work for me, I said, "Can you do 2 things at once?" He said, "Yeah, sure." I said, "Can you do 19 things at once?" He went, and then he left. He left. I said, "He can't do 19 things at once. He's a swimmer. He loves the water." And I called him back and said, "Come on, I think he can do at least 8. And we went over to Austria. Now he does 101 things at once. And I mean it, 101 things at once. And we get bored if we don't have opportunity. We're still looking for it. You know, I said I went to Necker Island and I was hanging out with Richard Branson, and I said, the only thing, the difference between your brand and my brand is you've got a great CEO. And he's got people that run his company that are amazing. And so if you can find somebody that will take your dreams and run it for you, that's really important. It's really important to have someone there to help carry it out. But you got to do it yourself. The main thing I can leave you with is don't take things personally. It's not their problem. Also, if you're in a relationship, what I found, what really, really helps me now is not to react. Don't engage. Just listen. You want to be right or you want to have a girlfriend? Girls know this. You want to be right or you want to be married? They just want to talk. Just listen. You know what? It works. You know, you may not agree with it. You might go, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. You're right, honey. Just, you know, it's allow them to be them, and they'll allow you to be me. I told my girlfriend yesterday, I said, you know, you are the way you are. I love you the way you are. Now, there's things about her that are crazy. We're a whole different relationship. She's from a small town in Wales, and I'm from LA, and you know, and it's 24/7 with me, with being recognized. It's a tough, crazy world. I seem to really enjoy it. And what riding on that ride, there's a lot of waiting, a lot of patience, a lot of like, oh my God, here they come again. But she's been helpful. She accepts that about me. And there are other things about her that I have to say, you know what, I'm not going to react. Don't react. And honest to God, it goes away. It's amazing. It goes away. It goes away in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then you realize you really do love this person and you can live with them. You know, find somebody that will say, I accept you the way you are. Maybe I don't agree with you, but I accept you the way you are. So accept me the way I am. I accept you the way you guys are. And fire some questions at me, anything you want, and come by and see Peter Pan. I've tried to kill him for 52 shows, and he wins every time. So don't try to kill Peter Pan. Don't try to kill the kid inside you. That's the most important thing you can learn. I love these kids, and the innocence. I mean, kids are happy. Kids are so happy all the time. They're, ah! And I see that with the students, mostly drunk, running around, but that's okay. You know, you'll get over that. But the kids are happy. They're like 4, 2, 3 years old. My God, I remember chasing my daughters around the set of Baywatch going, "Rolling, somebody get my daughter." Okay, and then they run over and grab my daughter and come back. I said, "You can't, when I say rolling, you have to be quiet." And so I hold them in my hand, and they say, and they go, "Rolling." I hand my daughter to the guy over here, and I do a scene, you know. But don't lose that innocence, and don't give up. You know, being an actor is a rough business, but get in everything you can. You know, just be anal about it. Be annoying. Get in everything you can. Just get in the game, you know. And if you're in the game, you're going to win. You're going to hit something. You're going to hit one out. But you got to get in the game. All right. Any questions? Catch.
If you've got questions, do you want to just sing into the mic at the beginning of the film? Who was that question? Who was that guy that just said it?
What does the Night Rider car stand for?
I just want to know, how did you get in the game?
I got in the game when I was 7 years old. I did Peter Pan. I saw a show called Rumpelstiltskin, and I saw a community theater, which they probably have here in Nottingham, and I immediately went and auditioned for Peter Pan. And I was on stage when I was 7 years old doing it, saying, "I'm never looking back." You know, if you can play soccer, if you can play guitar, if you can be a piano, if you're a singer, if you have a natural talent, right away, get on it. Get on it right away. You know, and just get involved in everything. Find every show you can be in, even if you're not on stage, you know, because that'll lead to something else. So, you know, whatever you can find, check the newspapers, what shows are going out, go backstage. Hey, is there a part for me as a dresser? Hey, is there a part for me as an extra? Get backstage, talk to the people, hang out with them. People love to talk about it. And all the actors love to help other actors. It's a great community. It's a great community to be in.
Hi, David. Can I give you a hug?
You must be superhuman. Give me a hug from back there. Wow. That's a question? Sure. Yeah, come to my dressing room later. I'll give you more. That was a joke, thank you. Hello, I love your t-shirt.
My name's Matty.
Hello.
What's the craziest thing you've done? On set and stuff?
The craziest thing I've done in sex?
On set? On set?
That was so... You ever see that, that clip on... no, I won't talk about that. The craziest thing I've ever done on set. Wow. Probably the craziest thing was probably the worst and weirdest but most fun episode. I did an episode of Baywatch Nights where I was in drag. And we were going to a male club where they dress up in drag queens. And somebody was shooting somebody there, so I dressed up as a girl and had all the guys, all my stunt guys, dress up as women. And I sang, "My funny Valentine, stay." And I was shot. It was awesome. And we had this great fight of all the stunt guys all dressed up as women. And we won the best fight award that year because we were all dressed up as women throwing heels and pulling. You women fight great. I love to watch TV when the women fight. The men are boring, you know, a couple punches, but the women, it's claw. You have no honor when you fight. Just get like, yeah. So, I guess that was the craziest thing, you know. A lot of fun. We have a lot of fun live on the show now. If you come to the show now, with a lot of gags going on the. You guys should come to the show. It's fun. If you let me know if you're coming to the show, we'll really turn it on. We do a lot of gags. I try to throw the other guys off by giving them the wrong lines, and the ones who are really good give me a line back. The ones that are really bad just kind of they just freeze and they don't know what to do. It's fun.
Excuse
Excuse me? How many years did you study to be an actor for?
Well, I'm still studying, you know. It's important to continue to study, you know. I find that it's like a muscle, you know. You have to exercise it. And I've done everything from, I studied when I was young, taking acting classes, to doing it. I guess the best training you can really do is to do it, just to do it. Just get involved in a show and get the criticism and the direction from different directors. I did a show called SpongeBob the Movie. I could not figure out how to say, I'm David Hasselhoff. I said, dude, how do I say I'm David Hasselhoff? I mean, and usually you don't want to ask the director for a line reading. But I said, you know, give me your line. Just say it like Superman. I'm David Hasselhoff. That's great. So I had to learn how to say, I'm David Hasselhoff. Who are you? I'm David Hasselhoff. Can you swim? Of course I can swim. And I'm David Hasselhoff. And yeah, so next question.
Hiya. Apart from acting, were there anything other you wanted to do growing up, like any other future plans?
Well, my future plans, like I said, after this are I'm going to be going down to Abu Dhabi to shoot part of my film called Killing Hasselhoff, which is a comedy based on a death pool that is really funny, like Hangover. Then I'm hosting Shark Week, which is a cool show. I'm so excited about it. I do a lot of work with conservatory work with sharks. I dive a lot all over the world to stop shark finning because they kill 1 million sharks, not 1 million, 100 million sharks a year for shark fin soup. So I go underwater and I dive with the Cousteau people and a guy named Mark Addison out of Australia. You can go online and find it, underwatertv.com, and feeding tiger sharks and showing how docile they are. And now Shark Week is a huge show on the Discovery Channel, and I went on thinking they wanted to show all this awesome footage I have of me with sharks, and they wanted me to sing Shark After Dark. It was like the theme song, so it became a huge hit. So I'm going to be doing the Discovery Channel, traveling all over the world with that. And then another hobby is a thing called the Gumball Rally. I do the Gumball Rally every year, which is kind of fun. This year we drive from Miami to Ibiza, and we stop along the way. We raise a few $1 million for charity, and stop along the way, race tracks and race. Try to stay within the speed limits when we can, and be safe. But we stop at race tracks along the way, and there's 140 cool cars. Check it out online. The Gumball Rally is pretty amazing. I do that. I like to travel. I like to work with kids. I'm opening up I'm building a resort in Bali, and part of the resort deal was give me 2 villas and a school. I want to put a little theater art school in Bali. Let the kids go on and do their own version of Peter Pan. Richard Branson's turned me on to so many charity events that he's done with his foundations and his resorts. Every resort that he has, like Necker Island, they help the local community. So I do a little bit of that. I also have a thing called Wheels for Humanity, which awesome charity I got involved in a long time ago. We kind of like Greenpeace. We deliver wheelchairs all over the world, and we do it ourselves. We'll fly them down, get in trucks, and take them out to Nicaragua, in the middle of the jungle, and fit these kids. And last place I was in was Vietnam with the chairs. And then we take a few days after that. After we do our good deed, we take 3 or 4 days and go, find a nice spa and hang out. So, you can take your celebrity or your passion and make a difference in somebody's life and also have a good time.
Hi David, out of all the roles you've done in your time, what would you say has been your most favourite?
Nick Fury. I did Nick Fury before anyone else did. With David Goyer wrote it, who wrote Spider-Man. And I love Nick Fury. I love Knight Rider. Michael Knight was kind of like the consummate character because I kind of created that. I created all the humor and the fun. But, Nick Fury was great. I did on Broadway. You can rent this. Good God, it was the hardest thing I've ever done was Jekyll and Hyde. But if you go to YouTube, Look up Confrontation. You can see me. I play 2 characters at once with the wig. I have 2 wigs on. And it's when Hyde and Jekyll are trying to take over the same body. And it's, I have to say, that was probably the greatest achievement and the hardest and most terrifying. And oh my God, opening night was insane. On Broadway, playing 2 characters. I've also did The Producers with Mel Brooks, who created everything from Blazing Saddles down the line to, he's the most amazing producer. And I got to play Roger Debris, the gay director, crazy director in that. I loved that. And I love something about everything I've done that I've managed to take the best of. You know, when I got Knight Rider, it was like a big joke in America. You know, David Hasselhoff on a talking car. We got crap reviews. Everyone panned us. Same thing with Knight Rider. Same thing with Baywatch. So we went off and we bought Baywatch. We bought Baywatch for $1. And we sold it for $500 million. Because we could. Because people say no to me, and that really pisses me off. You know, my ex-wife says, don't say no to my husband. He'll stand on the corner and sell CDs until he reaches 1 million, you know, on the freeway. I get motivated by people telling me no. And it's not a big word in my category. Anyway, I think Nick Fury, but on stage, take a look at, you should actually have a showing of this in your school, because I saw it on the big screen. We filmed it with 17 cameras, and it really turned out great. I just saw it in the theater. The only people in the theater were me and my dad. He's 88, and his nurse, and my driver, who's one of my best friends, and it was like, hey, there was nobody to share it with, but it's really, really good. And honest to God, it was one show. It's a live show, filmed on Broadway. And you'll absolutely love this musical. So I highly recommend that you guys spend the time to take it. And if you want, I'll make sure we send some copies over. We have a few in my garage. Yeah.
Okay, so do you still have your shorts from Baywatch? If so, do you like to wear them?
A girl with turquoise hair is asking me this. Yes, I have them on right now. Come to my dressing room, I'll show you. I actually have my shorts from Baywatch. No, you know, I can't find a pair. I have a replica pair that I actually wore the other day at Virgin as a gag. But no, I don't wear them around at all times. But if you are in trouble, I will definitely rescue you. Yes. Your boyfriend, I let him drown. Anyone else?
Hiya.
Hiya.
Obviously, being in the industry you are, when you walk around the streets, people recognise you all the time, I'm guessing. How do you deal with that?
Well, you know, in Nottingham, it's been great because the weather's so bad. Is that him? No, I don't think so. Oh, that was him. Yes, there he goes. Dang. Bye. Yeah. Every time the weather's great, the weather's raining, I go, honey, I want to go out. She goes, do you want to go out? I say, yeah, I can walk around. And then that's a good time for me to walk around. Monday afternoon, I found out I was in the lace market. Great time. I was seeing a sports doctor, you know, getting tweaked and getting my legs and everything back in shape, because I do a lot of sword fighting, and my legs, knees are not the same that they used to be because of jumping out of cars and running in the sand, running in slow motion. Yeah, I get recognized all the time. This year, it's funny. Last year I was in Manchester. There's 200 people, 200 every night, going out after the show's over, after the second show. The last thing you want to do is stand in the rain or the cold or the snow and sign 200 autographs. But I did, because I really thanked the people for coming. You know, it meant a lot to them. It's been difficult, so this year I decided, I'm not going to do this. I can't do it. I must go home. And every time I try to sneak out, someone sees me and goes, oh, please, please, it's for my son. And then I stop and I sign. So if I'm having dinner, wait till I'm done. And then as I'm leaving, absolutely. You know, it's usually when I'm right in the middle of a nice steak and, you know, and I'm getting kind of, my hands are full. I go, you know, come on. The time to worry is when nobody asks you for your autograph and no paparazzi's around you, you know. So I kind of play the game and I realize that it means something to them. But I can tell the difference in people who want an autograph, and I can tell the difference in the person pretty much right away. I have I really try to use my brain a lot for health, for emotion, and for keeping me out of trouble. And I can see things that you know, I kind of slow things down. I can see, why do you want that picture? I said, now, I'm your biggest fan. You're my biggest fan. Really, you're my biggest fan. You're my biggest fan. Really? Okay, how about this? I'll take that picture with you. If you're my biggest fan, I'm your biggest fan. But you can't show it to anyone else. They can never make that agreement. Well, I did. I knew Princess Diana. And I saw Harry after the Cartier affair. Cartier Racing, he was washing down his horse, and they said, we can get to Harry. And I said, hey, Harry, I knew your mom. I loved her. I thought she was great. I sang at her memorial. He goes, yeah, I know. I said, did you ever get that autographed picture I sent you? He said, no, but I got the one from Pamela Anderson. And we found out later the butler stole the picture because my kids came in, Dad, you really did know Princess Diana. Because they found the pictures to Harry and to William, little tiny pictures of me on the beach, and the butler had them in his custody. So I said, if you take a picture with me, and I don't ever ask anyone for a picture except for Cary Grant years ago, who was my big star, I promise you I'll never show it to anybody, and I'll keep it. And I have it. It's still on my computer, and it's still for me, because his mother meant that much to me. So, but the people here in Nottingham are different. They're really sincere, or they're high. I can't tell the difference. I see a lot of both. Yeah, a lot of bizarre, you know, I think there's probably more piercing and tattooing. There's more piercing and tattooing in Nottingham than probably anywhere in the world, except for maybe the Reaper Bond in Hamburg or Amsterdam. No, but the people here are really sincere. I can tell the ones who want to sell them, because I fell into that track for, you know. You can actually go online. Go online when you go home. Look up David Hasselhoff guitar. You'll love this story. The little kid goes, hi, would you please sign my guitar? I love you. I want to play guitar so bad. I said, well, I don't want to play guitar. He goes, yeah, I know, but please sign it. And could you put Hoff down the bottom? And do you mind if I film you? I said, oh, you're such a sweet little guy. Sure, sure. Thank you. I'm going to keep the guitar forever. It's on eBay for $1,200. Go find it. I couldn't believe it. Why the fuck didn't you do it like that? Why didn't you do it like that in the audition, you idiot? You know? Oh, did I talk too much? I talk too much. I know I talk too much. Because I went in and I was so nervous, you know. I always go in and try and, you know, break the ice when there's like, you know, have you been to these auditions? I mean, you'll get to these auditions where there's 10 people sitting around and they're like, yes, what's your name? What have you done? And you just want to, oh, shut up, you know. But you have to be, you know, on your game. So you get knocked back a lot. I'm still getting knocked back. I mean, it's still, when you go to the top of Knight Rider, after Knight Rider, I saw all these casting breakdowns. David Hasselhoff type. And I go, hi, I look just like him. No, not you. We want a type like you. We don't want you. I couldn't get a job. I could not get a job after Knight Rider. I couldn't get a job after Baywatch. So I found, a little girl came to visit me. She go read my book, it's really funny. This little girl comes to visit me. My manager calls me up and says, there's a little girl from Austria who wants to visit you. I said, I'm in my Ernest Hemingway period. I'm drinking heavily, I'm not working again, and life is over. My wife has left me. My clothes are outside on the driveway, and I'm not doing well. He goes, well, can you visit this girl? Did you hear what I just said? I'm depressed. He goes, she's coming right over. She came over, he goes, hi, I'm from Austria, my name is Nikki. And I said, oh, come in, Nikki, yes, Night Rider, big. You know. She said, and your album, Night Rocker, is #1 in my country. I said, Night Rocker, that album? That's horrible. I said, it sold 7 copies. I bought 6. My mom bought 1. And she goes, no, it's #1. Let me show you in my magazine. The magazine sponsored me. What's the name of the magazine? Renbon Express. Oh, okay. Opens up and says, Night Rocker, #1. I said, that's awesome. I said, where are you from? She goes, Austria. I said, great. Where's Austria? I show you on the map. So we go in, we look on the map, and I go, that's Austria? That's the smallest country I've ever seen. She goes, well, that's where you're #1. I went, bling, bling. Hello, is this the owner of Renbon Express? Yes, it is. Is my record really #1? Yes. Well, I have Nikki here. Oh, yes, we sent Nikki over. She won a prize to meet you. I know, and she's also wrecked my little Night Rider car. She wrecked my Night Rider car. I had a Night Rider car that was given to me for my first marriage. Not only did my wife leave me, she wrecked my little Night Rider car. And he goes, yes. I said, well, can you put me in touch with a couple of promoters, rock and roll promoters? Yes. Ring. Hello, I'm Herbie Fecta. Hello, Herbie. My name is David Schwartz. I thought I'd use a Jewish name because all the agents are Jewish. David Schwartz. I represent David Hasselhoff, and I have an idea of him coming over. Is this record Night Rocker #1? Yes, it is. Well, he wants to come over and bring the car, figuring if no one comes to see him, they'll see the car. He goes, I'll get back to you. Phone rings back. Hello, I can book it. I called my manager and said, I think I just booked myself in Austria. I got 2 cars, 2 Night Rider cars. Hello, Dad, I need a Night Rider car. What is it? It's a Pontiac Firebird, you know that. Go find one. He said, I can get 2 of them for $7,000 a piece. Okay, great. So he brings them over to my house. We drive them down the freeway, we ship them over to Austria. We put a kid inside the car, blacked out the windows. I am the Night Rocker, I'm gonna rock you all night long. Sang this ridiculous song. Inside of a tent. So you can see it on YouTube. Night Rocker, so corny. We had 3,000 people were gonna turn out. My dad did the merchandising. My dad comes in and goes, I got good news and bad news. I said, what's the good news? We're sold out. I said, what's the bad news? I have no idea how to get more merchandise in Austria. And we went on tour. We drew more than the Rolling Stones. And now I've got 40 gold and platinum records because of Nikki, because she made a difference in my life, and because I acted on it. You gotta act on it. Luck is being prepared for opportunity when it presents itself. So when it's there, go for it. No matter what the consequences, go for it. You're going to fall down whether you go for it or not, so you might as well go for it. Anybody else? Yeah.
Hiya.
Hiya.
I just wanted to know, what was the lowest point in your career that you got to?
I think the lowest point in my career was 105 feet underwater, diving with sharks in Costa Rica. No, I've been to 140 feet by accident. You guys scuba dive at all? It's fun. Whole world, that's the next world out there, man. I really don't know. The lowest point, I think the lowest point one of the lowest points was when I found out that after I brought Night Rider back to NBC, and I showed them how to make it. I had the money, I had the producing, I had the whole story. And then the guy that brought me in was fired, and his assistant was fired. They were the head of NBC. And then they called me and said, you're not going to be in it. And I went, but we're going to keep your story. And I got a little nervous because I said, what do I do? This is NBC. I was on #1 show, America's Got Talent. I couldn't sue them. I can't sue my own network. That was, I think, the lowest point in my career where I kind of realized that life isn't fair. And wow. that is wow. And I'm still walking around going, wow. So the way I turned that around, now we're working on Knight Rider, the movie, and it's going to happen. But I made, it took me a few years to get over that one. I think that was the lowest point. 100%. Because I couldn't believe it was so stupid. I didn't have to be in, I could be Devin, I could be like the boss, I could be in the background going, if you ever saw the pilot, it's like the kids at the grave of the wife, which I wrote, and Michael Knight comes walking down going, she was beautiful, she was lovely, I'm your father. I must go, I'm not in the series. And I freaking walk away! I walk away into the woods! It's like where did he go? And even the disc jockeys are going, I don't know, man, I thought he was dead. It was like an apparition. Those apparition things, man. Nobody, all the radio guys just had a ball with it. So that was probably it. But I think, also I was up for Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And it got down between me and Harrison Ford, and they went with him. And then Spielberg called me. That was with a lot of those, you got to learn how to deal with it. That's what it is. The best thing you deal with is how you can deal with rejection. And the worst part about it is, it's if you lose a small part, it hurts. But where do you lose the big ones? Woo! You walk around talking to yourself for about 6 months, going, I should have had that wrong. And then you can't see the movie because I could have done better than that guy. I could have done better than that guy. I know. I can't watch it. I can't watch this. Okay, I'll watch it. Oh, he's good. You know what? That was a good choice. Yeah, right. Choice.
Amazing. I think one final one from the staff at NCN. What is the best piece of advice anyone's ever given you?
Never give up. End of story. End of story. Never give up. 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 All right. Believe in yourself. Keep a positive attitude. Never give up. Dreams come true. And remember, get a bracelet. See it, believe it, and you'll live it. Imagination. Sigmund Freud's brain was 27% bigger than ours. He knew a little bit more than us. He said, imagine. Who would have imagined that we would have come this far with computers and cell phones? And who can imagine that now, get this, in our lifetime, all the cars will be driving themselves. Cheers.